Hi, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Very warm welcome to our very first GAA virtual conference. Before we start with the program, with the presentations and everything, we will have a 10-minute open mic, open community mic. So I will be calling out some of your names and introducing you and asking you how you are. So this is a 10-minute kind of open cocktail reception for everybody. I also would like to take this opportunity to inform you to please pin the program screen on the gallery view on top. The second window, you can see a window which is called program, and on that screen you put your mouse onto that screen. There are 3 dots. You press those 3 dots and you pin that video. It will allow you to have this main program screen on your main window, so that you're able to see the conference a little bit better. Okay. So I would like to say good morning to all of you. Ricardo, good morning. How are you doing? Ricardo, where? Can you please unmute yourself? Ricardo, yes. Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Niels.
Or where are you checking in from?
How are you? I'm from Argentina, from Venosa Cargo.
And what time is it where you are right now?
11 a.m.
11 a.m. Okay, that's a good time for everybody.
Yeah.
And good morning, Trish from New York.
Good morning. Good, very good. Good morning. How's everybody today?
Very well, thank you. It's actually not that long ago that we met each other. It was still this year, actually, right?
Yes, seems like a lifetime ago, right?
I know, and it was just the beginning of everything. It was back in February, if I remember correctly.
Yes, yeah.
That's crazy.
You look back. I sent somebody some pictures the other day from the meeting in China we had last October, and I said, what a difference a year makes.
I know.
Right? You look back in the past year and it's just, life has completely changed for everybody. So.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Good morning, Amar. How are you?
Good morning, everyone. How are you? Thank you so much, Niels, for this wonderful opportunity after such a long gap.
Yes. Where are you dialing in from, to let everybody know what time it is at your place?
I am based out of New Delhi, India right now, and it's almost 7:30. It's our dinner time.
Perfect. Good afternoon, Massimo. How are you?
I'm okay. How are you? How are you all?
Good. Thank you. It's very nice to see you here.
Okay.
So you're in Milan, is that correct?
Come again?
Which city in Italy are you from?
Milan.
Milano.
Yes. And here it's 3 p.m. this moment. And so it's a good time for us to have the meeting at this time.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes. Okay.
I see another familiar face here. Christoph, good morning, good afternoon. How are you? If you could unmute
Hello,
yourself.
Niels.
Yes.
Hello, Niels, and hello, everyone. Nice seeing you all, a VIP in UK, in London. And it's 2 o'clock, and nice seeing you all.
Great, perfect. Who else do we have here? Peter from Airlink. Good morning, good afternoon. Where are you calling in from?
I'm from Dubai, Airlink International, UAE. It's nice to meeting you all of you all for this virtual conference. I'm very happy.
Very nice. Good afternoon, Daniel Robinson. How are you doing? Danielle?
Yes, hello, how are you? Nice.
Good, and you?
Nice to see you, Niels, and everybody.
Nice to see you.
Like Trish said, after this, it's like since ever we last met.
Yeah, that's right.
By the way, I'm from Kumar in Argentina. And as Ricardo, here it's 11:05, so it's early in the morning, but it's okay. Well, it's not that early.
That's a nice background you have there. Nice background. How did you do that?
Yeah, it's a nice background.
It's our Robinson Group video.
Okay, who else do we have here? Rogerio. Hi, Rogerio.
Hello. Hello. Good afternoon. Or good morning.
Good afternoon.
Yes, I'm from Portugal in Portugal, and now it's 2 p.m. here, and I'm calling from Oporto.
Very nice.
Nice Oporto wine.
Okay, let me see. I have to scroll through here to see others to say good morning. Let me see who else can I pick out here. Hi, Gordon. How are you doing?
Hey, good afternoon from Cologne. How are you guys?
Hi, pretty good.
How's everything in Germany, Gordon? How's the situation right now? The news is not telling us is not very good news lately, right?
Actually, we are in a kind of soft lockdown. It means we are able to work, we are able to shop, but we are not able to drink outside, which is the worst case. But on the other side, of course, we are here and we are working like normal. So I think we have to wait for another couple of weeks to be back into the regular mode. This is what I expect.
All right, Manju. Hi, good afternoon or good morning. Hi, can you hear me, Manju?
Manju, can you unmute yourself, please? Niels, maybe we can move on to the next.
Yes.
There you go, Manju.
Hi. Do you hear me? Sorry.
Now we hear you. Yes. Hi. How are you doing? We have some feedback here in the microphone. Where are you calling in from, Manju?
Sorry, do you hear me?
The feedback is maybe we can move on, Niels, because I think Manju has some feedback. Yeah.
Right, sorry, do you hear me now? Hi. I'm so sorry for this audio. Hi, are you there?
Okay, let me move on to the next.
Hi.
Hi, good morning. I see
Hello, everyone.
Here. I saw Chris Van Mullen.
Hi.
Hi, Chris. How are you?
Hi guys, good morning. Hello from Rotterdam. Nice that I can join you in this start and the kickoff of the GAA. I was one time at the first kickoff meeting. I was in Bangkok with you all. Maybe you remember.
That's right. That's right.
Have a good meeting anyway, and meetings this week, and hope to see you soon all.
Thank you. Thanks. Gus. Hi, Gus. Good morning. How are you doing? Could you unmute yourself?
Hi, this is Manju. Do you hear me now?
Manju, yes, we can hear you, but there's still some echo. I wanted to say good morning to Gus. Gus, are you there? You're still muted. If you can unmute yourself.
Oh,
there you go.
I think there is a problem with the voice, or it's okay. It's nice to see you.
Okay now. Now we can hear you. Yes.
We are in Middle East.
Very nice. Okay, just a quick reminder before we start with our program. Please pin the main program screen. If you go up into the gallery view, you will see one window which says program, and there are 3 buttons on top of that program screen. If you can click that, and then you pin the program screen so that we can go ahead with our meetings. I would like now to begin with in the introduction of the network updates video. Christian has prepared the latest news, developments, and updates that we have for the GAA through this short network updates video that we prepared for you. So please enjoy.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. It is our pleasure to welcome you to our very first virtual conference. First of all, I would like to thank all of you for your continuous support and being part of the Global Air Cargo Alliance. I know it's been a roller coaster year for all of us. Even though the world economy is heavily hit this year, I can say that I'm glad to be part of the transportation industry. The pandemic has ways to teach us lessons to focus on what is essential, and transportation happens to be very essential in many different ways. Transportation connects global trade to meet the needs of everyone in the world. From the initial encounters that I've had with forwarders, the message is mixed. While some business is lost, new opportunities present themselves, especially in our dynamic industry of transportation. So please take some time to reflect and realize that while we're all affected, that we will be the ones to first heal from this pandemic. To begin with, I would like to guide you through our conference agenda for today and the following 2 days. Today's virtual meeting will last about an hour or so, and the following program prepared for you is as follows. Day 1, November 17, which is today, we will be introducing to you the new members of our network. Then we will move on to our intranet launch. After the intranet launch, we will then have a segment where we will be exchanging ideas and opportunities during this pandemic. After that, we will then have a break. And after the break, we will then have a keynote speech from Mark Miller, who will then discuss logistics after COVID. He has prepared a presentation for us, and I can't wait for you to have a look at this presentation because it's very relevant to our industry. After the keynote speech of Mark Miller, we will then move on to our photo contest, where we will see all the submissions of our photo contest and then together pick the best photo of our conference this year. And after that, we will then move on to our after movie segment. This is for us to remember what happened during our last conference. And after that, we will then have a closing cocktail where we get to say goodbye to each other for day 1. The next 2 days of our event will be dedicated for face-to-face meetings, for which you already have scheduled your meetings through our face-to-face app. Your actual meetings will be conducted over Skype. I can recommend that you add your meeting partners in your Skype application so you can easily get in touch with one another. You can also schedule your calls with them in Skype. Now let us proceed with the latest news and developments of the network. We kept ourselves busy in developing virtual connectivity solutions during this time, as a means for us to stay close with one another virtually and for our community to continue to grow and foster lasting bonds. We are glad to inform you that we will be launching our GAA mobile intranet very soon. This mobile app combines all the important network information for you to access anywhere at any time. Not only is it for one contact per company, but it is suitable for all key employees of your organization. I would also like to share with you that we continue to receive a lot of interest to join our network. Since our last meeting in Shanghai, we have added 21 new members from 18 countries. That is very promising for our network, and we're all excited to grow together with you. We're also pleased to announce that we have unlocked 9 new territories, including Australia, Singapore, Belarus, Kazakhstan, Jordan, Nigeria, Ukraine, Canada, and Kenya. Earlier this year, we were also able to visit some of our members who are based in the United States. My co-founder Niels visited our good friends from Global Shipping Services and KRL. Once again, thank you very much for attending the Global Air Cargo Alliance first virtual conference. I wish everyone to be safe during this pandemic and to have a very fruitful next 2 days of face-to-face meetings amongst members from all over the world.
Very nice. Thank you, Christian, for this introduction. In our next segment, I would like to showcase and introduce our new GAA members to you.
Hi, I'm Praveen from D&D Logistics India. We provide tailor-made solutions to our customers as consolidators, offering complete solution in air freight, sea freight, and support customer needs in road and rail through our domestic network. Our corporate office is in Chennai, and we have our pan-India presence, especially in major cities like Delhi, Bombay, Bangalore, Hyderabad, and Kolkata. We stand for our words dedicated deliverance, and we are happy and proud to be part of GAA and looking for a wonderful year ahead. Thank you.
Use ETG Logistics Nigeria Limited, a full-fledged service provider in Nigeria. We are headquartered in Johannesburg, South Africa, and we are present in over 20 countries in Africa, in China, in India, in UAE, in USA, and in UK. Our services include air cargo express, cargo consolidation, customs clearance, transportation, warehousing, palletizing, distribution, airport to airport, door to door, air transshipment, air cross shipment. We also specialize in perishable handling, variable good handling, general cargo handling, dangerous good cargo handling, livestock handling, project cargo handling, ambulance handling, and air chartering handling. Our operations cover all local and international airports in Nigeria for point-to-point bed practice delivery.
Hello everybody, my name is Alex Espejo. I am the CEO of Logistics Forwarding. First of all, thanks to the Global Air Cargo Alliance for the opportunity to introduce Logistics to you. Secondly, and most important, is wish everybody good health and a lot of encouragement to fight against this 2020. Logisware, we have 3 offices in Spain, Madrid, Barcelona, Valencia, 1 office in Sao Paulo, Brazil, and the new office and last one in Casablanca, Morocco. All offices in Spain and in Brazil has IASA certificate, AO, and GDP and CDI for the farm industry. In Logisware, you will find a young and professional team, very passionate about their job. You will find good rates and fast reply, that nowadays is one of the most important things. And we always look for long-term relationships. That's all. Thanks very much and enjoy the conference.
Hi everyone, my name is Andy from US Group Consolidator Singapore. I'm very happy to be part of the GAA network. US Group has been in the industry for the past over 42 years since 1978. We have 33 offices worldwide, 6 offices in the US and 17 offices in Asia, which specialize in air freight services and custom brokerage. We have a team of operations sitting in the airport 24/7, ready for any air or SC transshipment cargo. We are also one of the top MPOCC players in Singapore, offering ocean freight consolidation services. Please feel free to contact me if you have any inquiries, and I look forward to your support. Thank you and see you guys.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. My name is Frank Harzold. I am the branch manager and vice president for Global Shipping Services, located in the New York region, physically located in Springfield, New Jersey. We have 5 branches now, Chicago and Los Angeles being fairly new offices opened up this year. Yes, in the middle of the pandemic, that was our company plan, so we decided to keep with it for 2020. We have well-established office here in New York, New Jersey, in the Miami, primarily handling the South American area of the world, and our Houston office, which deals in the Gulf. For the GAA, we're very happy to be members. We're fairly new. I think we've been members for about a year and a half. We went to one of the conferences, the last conference that was held. We sent one of our representatives there. We are fully staffed in each office with a fairly young and energetic team to handle the air freight product. We also offer all services, including licensed customs brokerage, ocean import and export, and project cargo. This has been a very challenging year for most of us. The first type of video that I'm doing, so forgive me for the lack of professionalism, I guess, in this area. We wish you all the very best to have a good virtual conference and look forward to meeting you in the near future when this pandemic is behind us, and wish you continued success, health, and luck in the new year. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Theodore Schreurs, and I'm the founder and the CEO of the company NH Logistics. We have offices in Russia, Belarus, Ukraine, Azerbaijan, Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, and Moldova. Our specialty is DDP, IOR, and EOR shipments, but this market, we are already market leader, and we decided to add some other niches to our product portfolio. So now we are also handling unaccompanied luggage. We handle pharma shipments and perishables. So I hope that we can work together well with our new future partners. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Alessandro Galati and I'm representing TF Group Italy in the Air Cargo Alliance network. We are IATA certified freight forwarder, and we have offices in major airports of Italy. We can assist you with import operation, export operation, and air transshipment options as well. We do also offer sea freight options thanks to our customs direct connection and warehouses in the surrounding area of all ports of Italy. We are very happy to participate in this network and in this meeting, and we hope this will be fruitful for all of us. Thank you very much, and ciao ciao!
I now would like to move on to our next section, that is introducing our intranet video. Christian has briefly mentioned it in his presentation, and in the next video we will show you what the new intranet app is all about.
What is the intranet all about? Previously, all our network information was decentralized.
Only one person per company had access to the agency list. The messaging system was a mix of different kinds of content. We didn't have a social wall for all of us to share stories with fellow members worldwide. This is how we came to the idea to combine all our network information into one app that members can use 24/7 from breakfast to bedtime. Now the agency list is in your pocket so that you can message agents in real time anywhere. And when you start shipments, follow your partners to track any changes in their profile or payment status. The app also has a social wall where you get various updates from the network and from partners from all over the world. Whenever you need an agent recommendation, we now have an exclusive section where you can post an agent request for partners to share personal contacts right here. With unlimited users per company, the entire company should be part of this app. From customer service, sales, operations to business development.
Because a strong network is a connected community at all times.
We are now in the final phase of this of the launching of the intranet. I think we're in the testing phase, so another one and a half weeks or 2 weeks until we are ready to upload it into the Google Play Store and in the App Store, and then we will be sending you your login credentials, and you can start using this application from then onwards. But more information on that will come in the next couple of weeks with instructions and download details. Now moving on to our next section, we have prepared a live Q&A session. where we have invited a couple of panel speakers. So before we proceed with that, I would like to introduce our panel speakers and also thank them for coming forward and be part of this panel discussion. So we have Ruan Prematilaka, the Managing Director of Now 365 Logistics from New Zealand. They are also one of the founding members since 2018. We also have Amardeep Khurana, Managing Director of Inex Logistics and Supply Chain Private Limited from India. They are also our founding member since 2018. We have with us our founding member, Ricardo Mavian, Business Development Manager from Venosa Cargo in Argentina. Then we have Massimo Mazzantini, Managing Director from TEC Cargo, Italy, also a member since 2018. And lastly, Trish Kelly, Vice President of KRL Logistics in the United States and our member since 2019. Thank you very much, panel speakers, for joining this session. I would like to ask a series of 3 questions, and I will be picking you for those questions. So moving on to the first one, how has COVID-19 impacted your business, the positive and negatives? So maybe we could start with Ruan. Ruan, what can you tell us about that? If you could please unmute yourself. Sorry, Ruan, we can't hear you.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. How are you? Can you hear me now?
Yes, loud and clear. Thank you.
Fantastic. Lovely to see some familiar faces again. And whilst it's a shame not seeing everyone in person, it's nice to see everyone nonetheless. Now to answer your question, Niels. Look, I think, of course, the short-term pain with COVID-19. I think for us, we probably were affected sooner than most, being in the logistics industry, when I guess China first went into the extended New Year holidays, and the shipments obviously just dried up. And next thing, of course, we had the lockdowns. But I have to say, overall, as a team for Now 365, I mean, we're a young team. We just kind of put our heads together. I'm truly blessed that for us that we didn't have to sort of make any difficult decisions. We've got a great team. We just sort of decided, put our heads together and said, let's focus on what we can control. Do a great job with the bookings and the customers we have, and slowly but surely ask for more. And I think, if anything, it's actually brought us a lot more focused and a lot closer together. So we're starting to see the fruits of that, I guess, towards the back end of 2020, which is now we're probably about to hit a record month. So overall, it has been positive. So yeah, I think that would be the short answer.
Thank you. Massimo, how about you? How has COVID impacted your business, the good and the bad? Massimo, yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, great. Let's say that, as you can imagine, also for personally, this is something never been faced in the past. And even if I'm working for just the last 30 years, okay, but still never faced something like that. Anyway, what to say? We have been lucky because here in Italy, let's say that one of the few industrial fields left open. Hello?
Yes, go ahead, please, Massimo. Yes.
Okay. I was saying that we have been lucky because here in Italy, one of the few industrial fields left open by our government has been transportation. So we have been working all along, this pandemic. And luckily, as you can imagine, our export have been highly impacted by the pandemic because many industrial producers closed down from March to June, something like that, for 4 months. But we have been very busy with the import of face masks and all sanitary, issues regarding this pandemic. So we could, rebalance because we are mainly, as the Cargo Italia involved we are export minded, but we rebalanced everything with the import, especially of face masks and gloves, this kind of material. So far we have been lucky because we could face the pandemic in a positive way, but of course now we hope that beginning of next year, because this year is already over, but the beginning of next year with the vaccine or something like this, we will be able to restart and to do something up to date.
Indeed, yeah. Thank you. Trish, how about you? How has this impacted your business, the good sides and the bad sides? If you could please unmute yourself as well. Thank you.
Hi. Yeah, well, back in March, we merged with another company called AWA. They're a big consolidator into Australia, New Zealand, the Far East. And needless to say, a week after that happened, the pandemic hit. So it kind of put everything in a tailspin. But they're very big into that area of the world. They've actually been chartering aircrafts to move the freight that they have into that area because space and pricing was just through the roof. So we've been able to, consolidate with them. All of our offices are consolidating in Chicago and moving freight through there to, be able to be more competitive and give good pricing. We were sending some ventilator parts into Ireland, which was very good. We felt good about being able to assist with that. The summer months, business decreased a bit as things started to, affect people. I have one of my biggest customers. We import a lot of bus parts and they build buses here in the States, and their plant literally shut down. So that put a big crunch in our business, as you can imagine. So we had a couple of months where things slowed down. A lot of plants were closing, but we found from August, things were starting to kind of get more consistent and level again, and things are starting to be a bit more consistent. So it's just, it's been a challenge, but like we said in the beginning, we're in a very good industry at this time of the year, and I think that we'll be able to get through this and come out the other end okay.
Yeah, no, indeed. Thanks, Trish. Amar, how about you? If you could please unmute yourself, please.
Thank you so much, Nils. Hope you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you now.
India was no exception, but to be very honest with you, we took this opportunity and converted this opportunity into good business. From the very beginning, there was a lot of worries around. People were very worried whether, they were not very keen to go out, that there was complete lockdown, but logistics service was one of the essential services in India. So we had to keep our, airport offices open. And I myself went to airport during the lockdown to help our customers to import, the necessities like PPE, mask, ventilators. And, though the logistic business was down, but, whatever shipments were coming, those were very, very profitable. So 2020 has been one of the most profitable year for us, fortunately or unfortunately. But, at the same time, it has given us the opportunity to relook at our systems and processes, whether we are able to handle crisis like this. INEX has worked very hard during the lockdown in India to ensure minimum disruption in supply chain. We, as one of the leading custom broker in India, having 13 offices in India, so we had, many clients. Initially 2 months they were closed, but as soon as the lockdown restriction was eased in the month of May, so we started our operation full-fledged and we tried to help our customers. And overall, the COVID impact on business was positive. It has not, given us any shock in terms of revenue or profitability. But yes, to cheer the team up, to keep them working in such critical situation, it was a very difficult time. But I personally and my HR department personally, they ensured that we should be able to keep everybody safe, and while we are fulfilling the demands of the customers on time. So overall, it was a good business year for us. But yes, on the personal front, it was not very good because everybody was impacted in my family with the corona this thing, and I lost one of my my father-in-law was passed away due to corona. But overall, if you see, the picture is business is very stable now, and but we are again entering into second lockdown in India very soon, as per the news, because the cases in India are increasing day by day, and there are lot of problems in terms of health care. So we are trying to improve our healthcare facilities in India, as well as we are keeping the business running. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you. Sorry for your loss.
No, thank you.
Ricardo, how about you? How has it affected the good and the bad? If you could please unmute yourself. Yes, we can hear you now.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Well, first of all, Amar, so sorry for your loss. Then we would like to greet everyone from Venosa Cargo, Argentina. Gonzalo Venosa sends a huge hug for everyone. He couldn't attend this meeting, but he told me that you were great partners and he hopes all you the best. And then at the beginning of this pandemic, it affected us a little bit negatively because we weren't ready for this new situation. But then we could handle it, I think, a little bit well. And we are organizing and working in teams. As you can see, I am working from home. Unfortunately, pandemic and quarantine lasted a little bit longer than expected. In Argentina, we're having trouble with cases. Cases are going up, and we are waiting for maybe next year to have the solution. But talking about business, we are really having a good time. We have really good partners and customers, and change is the way to work. We have to take opportunities, and for example, we have to take benefits from this meeting. Maybe 15 or 20 years ago, we didn't have this opportunity, but we need to take advantage and to be ready to take new challenges.
Sorry about that. Yes, thank you very much. Moving on to our second question. What do you think are the lasting changes that will stay on after the pandemic is over? As you can see, whenever we head out to retail stores, there's plexiglass barriers and so on, and social distancing measures in place currently. What do you think will stay on after this pandemic in our business? Any processes or systems or any changes that are happening now that you think will stay on? We would like to start with Ruan, please.
Thanks, Nils. That's an interesting question. I mean, looking at the positives of it, I guess this whole saga has reminded us that we are truly a modern day business where we can essentially operate from anywhere in the world. I mean, this is a clear example. Look at all of us here sitting, online, speaking at the same time from all corners of the world. Although some of us might be up at 3:30 in the morning, but nonetheless, we're able to conduct this business, and it has been effectively the same for our company as well, with staff being able to sort of work remotely. So as far as sort of a positive change, it's proven to us that we can operate remotely. So going forward, I think, we would look to try and provide a bit more flexibility around our team's ability to work sort of remotely. Of course, since there's no international travel for the foreseeable future for most of us, we would probably be looking to do things like, allowing team to travel sort of right throughout New Zealand, and they can still sort of, log in effectively from a camper and do your work in the morning and hit the surf in the afternoon. So that's really the ideal lifestyle that I think, we'd like to promote. But when you break it all down, I understand, you spoke about the plexiglass and all those sort of, novelty changes. But this is actually a timely reminder to all of us that despite what era or what age we live in, the only certain thing in this world is the uncertainty. And this is a nice, gentle, yet firm reminder that things are always changing, and we have to be able to adapt quickly, be agile, be quick in the way we respond. And I think most of us here as independent freight forwarders, we have that ability and the capability to be agile and to be able to respond quickly and move quickly to find solutions, for our customers and our partners. So I think, we're in for some golden years ahead.
Yes, indeed. Indeed. Thank you, Ruan, for your insight there. Massimo, what are the lasting changes do you think that will stay on in Italy and in your organization? If you could please unmute yourself.
Oh, yes. What to say? In my idea, talking about our industry, I think that step by step we will be back to the normality, in my idea. But the biggest impact, in my opinion, which will be, generally speaking, which will have effect, generally speaking, will be the smart working, because the smart working before this pandemic was something just on the paper or just something just said among peoples, but never really applied, because working from home seems to be something, especially here in Italy, not applicable too much. But we all found that it's not completely true. And many industries, in many fields, the smart working now is something that, in my idea, will be applied also after this pandemic. And so, in my idea, this will be the biggest change in the working process. And of course, everything else will be, in my idea, step by step back to normality, and then all of us will, as Ruan said before, the instability is something we have to consider in our life. And so, said this, my idea. I don't know exactly when. I think it will take maybe another year, but we will be back to a sort of normality after this.
Yeah, I agree with you. Actually, I see it in a similar way. I think going forward, we might think twice of that additional business trip. Do we really need to take that trip? I mean, we're already traveling 20 times a year. Maybe we'll travel a little less instead and do that conference call instead. But nothing, of course, replaces face-to-face meetings. That's for sure. We're going to be
absolutely not
at it. That's very sure. But then we have done also quite a lot of extra traveling. So these are the things that maybe we will not do going forward. I don't know. Anyway, it's interesting, the developments that are happening, that we've been forced to, actually, right? Trish, what is your take on this?
I agree. I think that remote working is going to become much more popular. I mean, a lot of people are homeschooling their children now. I would say probably about 95% of our company is working from home now, mainly because their children are homeschooled now. So it's very difficult to find that balance of, where do you put your kids nowadays? There are so many daycares closed and everything. So it's very helpful, the remote working. I also think that a lot of people have become a lot more self-sufficient. You don't have the restaurants to go to anymore, or the haircutter, or here and there. So everybody, I think, has taken a step up to, what they're not used to doing anymore. They've been taking on a lot more themselves. Even doctor visits, they're all, it's telemedicine now. You don't feel well, you can just, find a doctor online and they can help you. I think there's going to be a lot more of online and a lot less like crowd situations for a while anyway. Eventually, people forget and we'll get back to normal. But I think for the foreseeable future, I think that everybody's going to really carry this within themselves and, be weary about shaking hands still for a long time to come, and constantly wash and not touch your face, and all these things I think are going to be in the back of your head for a long time. Until we're really sure that we're over this. I think it's taking, a big effect on people emotionally, business-wise, in a lot of different ways. So I think it's, going to be a different world for a while to come yet.
Right. Amar, how do you see your situation? What are the lasting changes that will stay on after this pandemic? If you could let us know your input.
Nils, this pandemic has, posted a lot of challenges, specifically a growing country like India. What has happened is in India, we are not at all prepared for such kind, even smaller scale problems. So this was a big, issue for all of us in India. We have a population of 1.5 billion people in India. So, in our company, we have more than 200 employees. So first challenge what we faced was how to keep everyone safe. So in that direction, we are thinking new ways to be implemented in our company, so that, our people who are working for us, how can we make, workplaces more safer for them? Because in India, the working from home is not very popular, or is not the option. Though we tried during the lockdown period, but now the focus is to cover all the employees under the insurance scheme, to give them, leverage to work at different hours. Then we are trying to transform the last mile deliveries in our company, where we are trying to inbuild technology, wherein, how we can introduce contactless deliveries. Because we handle almost 3,000 shipments a month. So we are preparing and training our drivers, our airport staff, our seaport staff, custom clearance staff, that how you can, while doing your routine business, how you can be more safer. So this is, and second, like I said, the focus now is in technology. We are trying to embrace technology into our work culture. India is more of, paper-based country, where everything is done on paper. So now we are trying how we can use the emails, how we can use the scans instead of physical papers, physical files. And we can build a sustainable future for our teams, for our customers, and for our, environment. Also, during the pandemic, the profiles have changed completely. Now we are looking at people to be more versatile while working from different locations. We want them to learn new things, again, to learn new technology, so that they can serve the customers and the partners worldwide in a better way. So overall, there are a lot of challenges which still we need to cope up with, but we are well prepared to take care of these challenges in the coming future, because, the economy is again, going back to basic. So it will take some time, but yes, we will come over, all the challenges which this Corona has posted against all of us.
Thank you, Amar. Ricardo, what can you tell us about that?
Yes, I couldn't agree more with you. You're right. The way of working has already changed, and I believe that the change will continue after pandemic. The way that we are working remotely, specifically here in Argentina, we have a very bureaucracy in person. We have to be physically there at organizations to present and submit documents, and this way of working that pandemic brought us allows us to simplify procedures. In addition, working from home at the beginning was a little bit different and difficult, but then with routine and working in teams, it became naturally for us. I believe that it's a very good way to take advantage of time. We don't have time. We don't have to waste time to travel to work. We can benefit from it.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, thank you, Ricardo. Okay, so I would like to move on to our last question, and that requires a little bit of a crystal ball into looking into the future a little bit. If you could just give us your take, if I can continue. When do you believe the economy in your country will recover back to pre-pandemic times? Ricardo, can I maybe just continue with you? When do you think things will be back to normal in Argentina?
Yes, no problem. As you know, Argentina is a very particular country. We have been through very lot of crises, and this pandemic caused the economy a huge shock, let's say. We believe that maybe by this time next year we could be at the same position before pandemic, but it's a really unknown question and result.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Let's hope that by this time next year we will be fine again and trying to reactivate the economy.
That's right. Fingers crossed to that. Amar, how about you? How about in India? When do you think you will see, let me say, a recovery to the times before the pandemic started?
Nils, we cannot deny that, Indian economy was facing headwinds much before the arrival of this pandemic. India's GDP was on a downward slope much before COVID-19 hit in the country, largely due to the demonetization which has happened. If you are aware of demonetization exercise which happened last year in India. So that has already contracted our GDP, and it was already on the downward trend. A second factor, the lockdown in India was one of the most stringent lockdown for 2 months across the world. All the businesses were shut, everything was closed except the essential services. So there is a lot of impact on our economy due to this, COVID-19 pandemic. But at the same time, India is a very, very strong economy and a country with almost 1.5 billion people. So people have already started working very, very hard to revive the economy. And in fact, if you know that, we just celebrated Diwali. And the celebration on Diwali was really as good as like any other year. So the businesses were up, the demand for automobiles, the demand for consumer products was good in the last few months. So we hope that it will take some time. We cannot tell the world how much days or months or years we will take to come back to normal. But surely, India is a strong country and it will take some time to recover, but it will definitely recover back to the original position very soon.
Thank you, Amar. Trish, how about you? What is your prediction?
Okay, hang on. Hi. Well, before the virus hit, we had one of the best economies we had in years. It was great until the virus hit, and I think we're in a bit of a standstill right now. I mean, we've had over 1 million new cases last week, which is causing more restrictions here in the States right now. The restaurants and bars were really crushed by the virus. The mild weather helped them rebound a little bit, but they're still down 47% from a year ago. Unemployment's improved, but it's extremely high. The housing market is strong, but that's because most people right now are fleeing the cities and heading to the suburbs. I think what's really going to help the economy is, people being able to get back in the air and start flying again. Once that happens, the hotels will rebound, restaurants, tourism. I mean, I think that's essential to the recovery of our economy. I mean, there's some good news about the vaccine that kind of brought our markets to a rebound a little bit here in the States with that good news. But again, I think it's going to take months to distribute that. And I think the virus is just going to continue to really dictate the direction of the economy for a while yet.
Right. Yeah, indeed. Massimo, how about in Italy? When do you think things will go back to normal, if we can call it that?
Well, we have to say that Italy was already, we cannot say in a recession, but very stable with no growth in the last 4 or 5 years before the pandemic. So the pandemic affected a lot the tourism industry, which is one of the most important here in Italy. So hotel and all the industrial field around the tourism industry has been highly affected. And honestly, I think that it will take time. 1 year is not, it won't be absolutely enough. I mean, even if in 1 year we will be back to a upper normality, it will take maybe another year or more to come back to the situation pre-pandemic. I'm a bit negative from this point of view. Generally speaking, I mean, talking about the Italian economy in general. What to say? Of course, we cannot predict exactly what's going to happen, but if you ask me, I think in 2022 we will see some improvement. Next year will be still suffering a lot. We will suffer a lot again. I think so.
Okay. Ruan, how about you in New Zealand?
There we go. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yep. Look, I think thank you to everyone for their answers. It's interesting, hearing Amar speak and also about Italy and the tourism industry, obviously in New Zealand. I think the answer to your question is a multifaceted answer depending on the industry that you're in. Of course, if you're in the tourism industry, that's going to take a long time to sort of recover, or should we even be calling it a recovery, or rather an adaptation? Because I think the new future, we're looking at things differently, and I think, as you said earlier quite correctly, that maybe you probably won't take that additional distance trip if you can avoid it, whereas we have been I guess traveling quite freely, and I think it's making us all reconsider things. But then in saying that, in other sectors, like in, dare I say, in agriculture and in exports, I think, for New Zealand, we will absolutely boom. The biggest way that, the biggest threat for us is effectively like government intervention that could potentially slow down the free markets from operating. I think, in New Zealand, we have an abundance of resources and wealth that we can share with the rest of the world. So hopefully that I believe in free markets, and I hope that starts operating again, so we can all trade and basically become a closer place as one, where anybody in Italy can have New Zealand wine, and anyone in New Zealand can have Italian wine without too many issues. And I think it's important that us as logistics providers at the forefront of the industry and what's happening in the world, that we continue to sort of keep pushing ahead. I think we'll experience some growth in our industry over the next couple of years. Innovation will really result in some a really big winners out in the market. I think the way we've been traveling, obviously that'll need to be looked at. And if you can innovate and come up with new ideas, there'll be some sectors that will do really well beyond this 2020.
Indeed. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you everyone for your insight. I would like to conclude this panel discussion now. Once again, thank you for your very valuable input, your opinion, and your predictions. It's absolutely fantastic to be able to hear from all of you from different corners of the globe, of course, with the various different viewpoints. Before I move on with our program, I'd like to draw your quick attention to my virtual background that we have created. You can see here our company logo, the country flag, as well as some graphics. We will be happy to produce a virtual background for you all. If you would like to use a virtual background for your future Zoom meetings with your partners, where you can have your own company logo, your own country flag, please let us know. Our team will be more than happy to create a virtual background for you that you can use for your meetings. Moving on, we will have a 5-minute break after this, but please remember to stay on. Our program continues with the keynote presentation, the photo contest, and then the closing. So we're nearing the end of our virtual meeting, but please stay on, get a refreshment for the next 5 minutes. So we'll have a 5-minute break now, and I'll see you soon. Thank you. Cheers to that. Okay, in our next program, in our next segment, I would like to introduce Mark Miller, who has prepared a keynote presentation on COVID-19 and the effects of COVID-19 after the impact of COVID-19 on the global supply chain systems. Please enjoy.
Hello, this is Mark Miller, author of the book Global Supply Chain Ecosystems. I am pleased to be able to share with you my thoughts and insights about the COVID-19 impact on global supply chains. We are now on the cusp of a thrilling new era for supply chain. This coronavirus crisis has vividly exposed the profound interdependencies in today's global supply chain ecosystems and powerfully demonstrated the intrinsic risks in our complex, connected, volatile world. In this presentation, I will explore the supply chain ramifications of COVID-19, which is already proving to be a super accelerator of some pre-existing megatrends, including globalization shifts, digital disruption, and the e-commerce frenzy. The next normal will be characterized by uncertainty. But what is certain is that this virus will have significant supply chain implications, both over the short term 12 to 18 months, but also over the subsequent 2 to 3 year medium term, such that supply chain 2025 will be substantially different on multiple dimensions. The initial impact of COVID-19 was supply-side gridlock, as mainland China went into a coronavirus-induced hibernation just after the extended Chinese New Year holidays. This resulted in global shortages of components and products, making it powerfully and painfully apparent just how global supply chains have become inextricably dependent upon China. COVID then embarked on its own globalization journey, spreading fear and uncertainty around the world as healthcare systems became overwhelmed. Widespread lockdowns ensued, with shops and businesses closing. High street retail came to an abrupt halt, triggering the most dramatic collapse in demand. The exceptions, of course, being medical supplies and equipment, which experienced an unprecedented surge in demand. As consumers became unable or unwilling to venture out of their homes, shopping for groceries and household essentials moved online en masse, turbocharging the e-commerce frenzy and generating unparalleled volume growth in small packages for home deliveries. Then, just as China started to reopen their economy and factories were getting back to work, production orders were getting cancelled due to excess inventories and lack of demand. And so global supply chains ground to a halt. As these extraordinary supply chain shocks reverberated around the world, companies are being forced to urgently reevaluate their sourcing strategies, business models, and distribution channels. This inevitably resurfaced discussions about the relocation of offshored production. Let's recap. Nearshoring is the relocation of production activities closer to the market where the products are going to be consumed. Onshoring, also known as reshoring, is one step further, whereby production is moved back into the country where the goods are going to be consumed. These are not new topics. Recall other huge supply chain shocks such as the Fukushima earthquake, the Iceland volcano, and the Thailand floods. They all triggered animated nearshoring discussions, championing the need to relocate production closer to the final consumption markets. However, what typically happens is that enthusiasm for change tends to dissipate as things soon get back to normal and companies realize the actual enormity of truly reconfiguring their supply chains. But this time is different. This time, I believe, nearshoring will become more than just talk for a number of reasons. Firstly, this COVID crisis is much more severe in impact and global in reach than previous supply chain shocks. The consequences from a supply chain perspective will be much deeper, much wider, much more long-lasting. Secondly, this COVID predicament is intertwined with massive geopolitical tensions between the world's superpowers. Tensions which have already triggered some companies to relocate the production of their US-destined products in order to avoid the US tariffs on China-sourced imports. And thirdly, with the continuing growth in emerging markets and the increase in intra-regional trade, globalization had already become somewhat stalled. And so with the increasing polarization between East and West, coupled with lingering frustrations about differences in business practices, I believe it's inevitable there will be some decoupling, resulting in changes to global trade flows. And so COVID becomes the catalyst that actually stimulates companies into taking real action on reshoring and nearshoring initiatives, which will reduce dependencies and diversify risks, but will obviously result in shorter supply chains. However, relocating your supply chain is much easier said than done. This is not for the faint-hearted. Today's supply chains have been built up and fine-tuned and developed over a number of years, if not decades. They cannot just be readily untangled, packed up and moved elsewhere. This is a serious undertaking, whether nearshoring or reshoring. It's a project that's likely to be measured in years, not weeks or months. And whilst COVID is a catalyst for companies to take action, COVID-related restrictions will inhibit the process of reconfiguring the supply chain by nature of travel, related limitations, and of course the restriction on in-person exchanges. Accelerating the process, on the other hand, will be government incentives. The United States, with much fanfare, has announced grants and subsidies and tax relief for American companies that relocate their manufacturing back into the United States of America and create American jobs. It's not just America. Canada, Korea, some European countries have all announced initiatives to encourage the relocation of manufacturing. Japan, for example, has allocated a $2.2 billion fund to help Japanese companies repatriate their manufacturing back into Japan and create local jobs. Now, of course, in these first world economies, there's a concern about the high cost of labor. And this is where I believe we'll see automation come readily into play. Robotics and automation are substantially lower cost now than they were 20 or 30 years ago when we started the offshoring globalization journey. And readily available, economically viable automation solutions will ease the process of reshoring manufacturing back into developed market economies. Now, for nearshoring, the key beneficiaries need to obviously be in close proximity to the final consumption market and have lower cost platforms. So the key contenders for the United States market, for example, would be Mexico as the leading contender, leveraging the North American Free Trade Agreement as well. For European markets, Eastern European countries such as Poland, Turkey, Hungary would be leading contenders as nearshoring platforms. So nearshoring will reduce reliance on Asia in general and China specifically, and we'll see the Supply chains being typically much more regionally focused and therefore shorter. They could be configured as made in Latin America for America or made in Eastern Europe for Europe. However, this will in no way result in a mass exodus of manufacturing outside of China, but we will see some diversification across the Asia region. Several reasons for this. First of all, we are now firmly in the Asian century. 1/3 of global GDP is in Asia. We are home to 1.8 billion people in the consuming class. And by the year 2030, Asia will represent 2/3 of the world's middle class. So made in Asia for Asia will remain a very viable supply chain strategy for generations to come. And this will enable companies to capitalize on the huge potential across Asia's emerging economies. At the same time, more and more companies will also be diligently exploring their China Plus options, looking for additional locations around Asia for sourcing and production of products and components where there is abundant labor that is lower cost than the China labor has become. Different sectors will have a different mobility, if you like. Garments, footwear, sports goods, furniture, their supply chains are relatively mobile or movable, certainly compared to much more complex products and supply chains like high-tech electronics, household goods, and automobiles. So the leading contenders around the Asia region, they vary by industry segment. But Vietnam, Indonesia, India, Bangladesh, Cambodia, these are all contenders for post-pandemic divergence of production activities that can leverage their low-cost labor markets. However, none of these alternatives can match the huge extent of China's resources. China remains the clear leader in both scale and scope, leveraging its massive infrastructure investments over the last 20 years and its huge workforce. And for that very reason, many supply chains will remain in China, or at least remain China-centric. And that includes all the multinational companies who are selling into China's enormous domestic market, whether they are targeting the consumer or the industrial segments. Such companies will retain within China all their manufacturing, sourcing, and assembly activities for goods destined for sale in the domestic China market in the supply chain strategy that is now known as in China for China. So in summary, the consequences of COVID-19 will result in a step change for global trade as we know it, spelling the end of 30 years of globalization. Post-pandemic, the next normal will see some radical reconfiguration of global supply chains, adopting a much more regional and localized approach. Evolving through to year 2025, we can expect to see widespread deployment of shorter supply chains that increase control, increase responsiveness, and increase resilience, whilst also reducing lead times, reducing transport costs, and reducing emissions, and helping to mitigate risk. And so in times of such great uncertainty, it is best to be prepared. Companies should be planning for the worst, hoping for the best, and always expect the unexpected.
Thank you very much, Mark, for this interesting insight into the current global situation. A lot of great takeaways there for all of us to think about, and how to position ourselves possibly for the new future and the new normal ahead of us. Moving on to our next few segments, we have prepared a lighter program, something fun and lighthearted as well. We have asked you to submit to us your best photos from the last conference. So we had a little photo contest going on, with a prize as well. The prize being a cocktail reception or sunset cocktail sponsorship, sorry, for the next actual meeting that we will be having. So we have a winner, and if we could please have the photo, please, of the winner. And the winner of that photo is on your right. That would be Ruan from 365 Logistics in New Zealand. He sent to us this photo. So congratulations to your sponsorship for the next event, which hopefully can happen sooner than later. Thank you very much for sending the photo. We appreciate your submission. So going forward, we hope that many of you will participate with your photos that you could send to us, so that we can have you all included in there and see the photos that you have sent to us.
Thank you, Nils. That's awesome.
Okay, so moving on to our second last segment. We also have the official GAA after movie. This is the movie of the last conference in Shanghai. Could we please play back that after movie? Great memories, indeed. That concludes our first GAA virtual meeting. I would like to thank all of you for participating today. It's been a pleasure seeing all of you here today, and I do hope, of course, to see many of you at our next real event, hopefully next year, end of next year, hopefully. We don't know yet. We will see. We will definitely let you know. Obviously, we want everybody to be able to travel and everybody to be comfortable to travel. So I think we're still a little bit, a few months ahead of this. I mean, a few months to go before we can do that. So we have also prepared a short survey that will pop up on your screens. If you could please complete that survey to tell us how we're doing and where we could possibly improve. The pop-up should be there right now. Please feel free to also add a comment at the bottom. We are also adding a question, or we have a question where we would ask you if you would be comfortable traveling already earlier in the year. For example, you can already travel to Dubai. Emirates has quite a large network, as you know, with with their planes and with the airline. So what they do in Dubai is they give you a PCR test on arrival with the results happening pretty much immediately, and they release you without the need to quarantine, obviously only if you're negative. Yeah, we would be curious just to see what the appetite is to travel at this stage. Let's say if there was a conference in March or in April next year, how would you feel about it? If you could give us your honest replies there, we would very much look forward to that. And once again, thank you very much. This concludes the first GAA virtual conference. Thank you for attending. Thank you for your time. And I very much hope to see you soon again. Thank you.